Good afternoon, it's Benny Buffon here again in his Championship Cup Season 20 team preview. And today we're going to have a look at one of the kill team, one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs, CWKS Wolves, name CWKS1916. And let's have a look at the team. 1 cheerleader, 2 team rerolls, 1 coach assistant, 1900 team value. Security gear as his enhancement, 28 wins, 10 draws, 8 losses, good record. And nice 3-0 win over Chernobyl's Children latest. Beat Mato Paulo 2-0. Beat I Want My Mummy 2-0. So there's 2 playoff teams. Better late than never, beat them 2-0. Beat Jeanette 2-1. Beat Pink Horrors 2-0. Beat Blood 1-0. Crikey, he is beating a lot of these playoff teams. Great Biggun's got a good win over him though. Ram the Mad Kemry beat him 2-1. But and Fluke Qualification Tripper's team beat him 2-1 as well. But more times than not, he's beaten the playoff teams in the ladder. Obviously, it's a bit different now because obviously we're into the knockout stage. Key play for me on this team is number 1. People might say number 6, but to me is against Serious Jest High Elves first up. And if he beats them, he's going against 2000 TV Wood Elves. As good as number 6 is, it's going to be hard for him to catch anything what's decent, unless the elf teams make a mistake or are forced into doing something rash. Where this guy, number 1, obviously moving 6, he can do 3 GFRs with sure feet. He's got break tackle, he's got dodge as well, he's got blodge, he's got mighty blow tackle. This guy will sit at the back and he will obviously play as the safety. I'm sure number 2 will be there as well. Unfortunately, number 2 doesn't have break tackle, so you know he'll be relying on number 1. Obviously, number 1 can burst into a cage on a 5+ with a built-in reroll, and most times they'll get 2 die as well. I just think number 1 is the key piece, especially in the first 2 weeks. First 2 rounds if he gets through. Like I said, his chorfs are pretty good. You know, he's got 4 mighty blow. One of obviously number 6 is the key one. He's obviously got claw, mighty blow, Parlon, Dauntless, even got Prey in there as well to go with his block, tackle, and thick skull. He would be really good, especially against the bash slow teams. He still could do some damage against the elves, but I just not as much as you'd think against the bash ones, because he'll be probably given shrapnel, the lesser players to fight with, I would have thought. The big negative to me is the 2 team rolls, Groovy. 2 team rolls in the playoffs is a recipe for disaster. I've never known any team to ever win the competition on any format with 2 team rerolls. Because the chances are, if you get to the final, more times than not, you're going to go into overtime. And it's really hard to have 2 rerolls what could potentially have to last you up to 16 turns. Really hard. And, we all rolled up skulls, so a lot of times you might have to burn a reroll there. If you lose your Hobgoblin and you have to try and pick up something else and you don't, against elves, more likely going to try and reroll to pick it up. So 2 team rerolls, to me, that is a massive weakness in this team, and that is something I'm sure Serious Jest will try and exploit. 2 dare players like that, obviously standard Hobgoblin, not wrong with that. And he's got a few PCs. He's got obviously number 8 here, he's 3 off for level up. So yeah, it's a good solid team, isn't it? It does what it says basically. I just think it's going to be tricky, these 2 games, because he'll do well to beat Serious Jest with all that firepower. But Groovy will look at it as, look, I'm going to try and win. If I don't, I'm going to rip as much of Jest's team off I can as possible. And if he does do well to beat them, he's going to go against the Wood Elves. So it's really, really going to be hard for him. Better matchups would have obviously quite clearly would have been the Amazons. I also think the Dwarfs would have been a real nice matchup for him as well, because he's got the claw, he's got the guard to go with their guard, he's got more mighty blow than the Shaggrass Dwarfs have got. So I think he would have loved to have gone against them. Any of the kill teams would have been a bad matchup for him. Like the Shots Blood team. Like I said, Serious Jest team's not a great matchup for him either, with a decent amount of speed, and he's got a bench as well to soak up the attrition, and obviously the Projectors Wood Elves would be a disaster, and he could be going up against both of them. So yeah, it's not good. Reza rules you Underworld. I'm sure he'd love to have chewed his way through them. Not gonna be. But it doesn't go against the Khemri, what could have been a bit tricky with their strength advantage. The Vamps would have been another one he could have nicely chewed on. And I've been told that Leon plays actually in Gruby's league, so obviously them two good friends, and they know each other very, very well. So welcome to Leon again. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I love Gruby to bits, and I hope he does well. And two of them are good friends going off against each other. Serious Jess, the underdog king, versus Gruby, the monster who kills teams for a living. So yeah, it's a funny one. I tip Serious Jess to come out on top, but you know, if Gruby was to win, you would not be surprised. One thing you'd expect, even if Serious Jess was to win, that Gruby will have taken his fair share of pound of flesh, and I don't think Serious Jess is high enough to be at 2,000 after the game. If they are, then well, they've got away with murder. So there you go. That is Gruby's Chorfs. Glad to see him back in the competition. I love Gruby to bits. I hope he does well, but come on, man. 2 team rerolls. Really? Come on. I've taught you better than that. You need that extra reroll. Get past the first round. Bang another reroll on there, buddy. You'll need it. Well done for making the playoffs, and good luck in the playoffs.